But this has been kind of an interesting week, Thomas, because as I look over here at the NFL, there is a division, the AFC West, right, where every single team, Las Vegas goes and gets Devontae Adams. They re-up on Derek Carr. They go and get Chandler Jones from the Arizona Cardinals. The Denver Broncos, who we'll talk about, I think, at length a little bit later, they go and they get Russell Wilson for a big trade, along with Randy Gregory and so on. And then, the Los Angeles Chargers, they go get Khalil Mack, J.C. Jackson. They re-up Mike Williams to go with Keenan Allen. They have Justin Herbert, one of the best quarterbacks in all of football. And yet here before Thanksgiving, the Kansas City Chiefs are 3 games up on the Chargers with a sweep in hand. And it's just, I look and think about these teams, and I think for Vegas and for Denver, the road is going to be long to come back here. But for Los Angeles, I think of the Chargers in a similar vein, right? I think of the Chargers, you hit on an amazing quarterback with the 6th overall pick. And I think you and I both I think he's at least an 8 out of 10. Everybody else can think whatever. But he's making almost no money relative to what other quarterbacks of his caliber are making. And yet with him as a starter, the Chargers are 20 wins and 22 losses. They're coming up on the offseason of year 3 for him. He's going to get the max contract, as is Joe Burrow. And I think when you look at having a hard time winning football games when he's making almost no money, what is it going to be like for the Chargers moving forward with a quarterback who's clearly talented, clearly good, but now going to take up a significant fraction of the salary cap? Like, what do the Chargers have to do from here?
Look, let me first start by saying I agree with you 100%. I love the guy. I think he is the elite quarterback, one of the elite quarterbacks in this league, categorically. He's one of those guys, as you know, at 6'6", moving the way he does. He almost looks like he's 6'1.5" at times, right? I love his whole package as far as where he's going mentally and physically and how he can lead the team the way that he does. By the way, one of the best interviews that we had quarterback-wise, even though we shouldn't have really been interviewing him, I mentioned to you last time, everything about him is ideal for that team to grow with. That said, they're not, to your point. I agree, you have to pay him. You must pay this guy. There's no chance in getting a quarterback like that, in my mind, that has that kind of ability over the next while. I don't know how deep into the college side. This team needs to stay with Justin. Of course, they need to pay him the money, and they need to continue to be creative with how they're building the team. Now, look, you can flip this, step back as a GM or a former GM or anyone and say, why are they not producing? Is it a Brandon Staley thing? Is it a coaching staff thing that I have my strong feelings about? There's a lot to do with that, not always just the head coach. So let's go back and forth on this a little bit, because I believe you need to, and I do not believe that they can't win. I just believe that there needs to be some, really stepping back and looking at that organization through and through, how they're led and how they're approaching the talent that they currently have.
Yeah, I firmly agree with you that they have to sign him, because we've seen it this week. We'll talk about this in a second. Zach Wilson, one of the more talented strong arms that we've seen come out of college in forever, and we're talking a year and a half in, and he's on the bench, right? The Texans just put Davis Mills, a later round pick, and of those guys, Kyle Trask, Kellen Mond, Davis Mills, the best of the bunch. He's going to the bench because he hasn't been able to produce. Going back to the well for a young quarterback, it is great in theory. But when you're looking at from the Chargers standpoint, where you're already on coach, I believe this is coach number 3 for them over the past decade or so, you have to get results. And the hardest problem, and I think that, when we frame things probabilistically, I do believe it's going to be hard for them, because I just think when you look at, the way in which you distribute bets along a roster, the biggest bet is on quarterback, right? All the other bets have to be parlayed together. Your offensive line stays healthy. Your coach gels with your personnel. your defense stays healthy and is schemed properly, your schedule is conducive to good things. And I think the Chargers have gotten unlucky in terms of when they play teams. They played the Niners when they were healthy. They played the Jaguars at the top of the Jaguars market. And so all those lucky things have to happen. And when you have a rookie quarterback on a rookie deal, you can pay for that kind of luck. I always think about when Pat was coming up with Kansas City, they gave Sammy Watkins $16 million a year to be their three, right? And so whereas when Herbert's making $50 million, you have to draft your third wide receiver and hope he comes out. And those are just comes up and does okay. And those are just harder gambles to win with, Thomas.